Let's go take a look at a car together. You don't have to be mechanically inclined to know what you're looking for when buying a great quality used car. I'd like to share with you a few tips that you can do, regardless of your level of mechanical knowledge, when looking for a quality used car, to know if it's one you should consider further or one you should just walk away from. First of all, one of the things I like to do is look at the overall condition of the body of the car, obviously. But take a real close look at the nose of the car and go on down, squat down a little bit and look towards the overall body. What I'm looking for are any irregularities either in the metal itself or looking for any discoloration or fading or perhaps a matte finish when there should be a shiny finish on the body. That would give you an indication perhaps that the car has had some paint work done. But be cautious, paint work by itself doesn't mean the car has been involved in an accident. It could be simply a cosmetic repair, a key scratch, or a minor door ding. And this is where a vehicle history report is going to come in handy. It'll let you know if the car has had some major repair work done. But this will at least tell you if you should dig a little bit further. So be very cautious in looking at the body, look at both sides, and don't forget the roof. Oftentimes the vehicle has been damaged on the roof, but you're too excited about looking at the overall body of the car to miss it. So look very, very carefully, make sure nothing has fallen on the top, scratched, dinged, damaged, or an indication of even a minor rollover. I also like to look at the moldings. I like to pull moldings back a little bit. What I'm looking for is overspray to see if the car has had some paint work done to it. It's very difficult to mask this perfectly when repainting a vehicle. So oftentimes when a vehicle has been repainted, you'll notice that there'll be some overspray on some parts of the molding, all the molding. So again, it's a matter of taking your time, look carefully because this is going to be a very large investment for you. Tires can be a major expense on your used car purchase. What you want to try to determine is how soon you'll have to replace the tires on the car you're looking at. So I use a very simple test using a regular US penny. I take the penny and place it in the tire tread right here. I'll actually go in one deeper, closer towards the middle. What I'm looking for is to see if I can see the top of Abraham Lincoln's head. As it turns out, the distance between the edge of the coin and the top of Abraham Lincoln's head is about the wear indicator on a regular tire gauge. So if you don't happen to have a tire gauge on you that would measure that depth tread, use a penny. In this case, if I can see the top of Abraham Lincoln's head, you know what? It's time to replace that tire. And you have to consider that in your overall negotiating price. There's a few things that you could be looking for under the hood of the car, regardless again of your area of mechanicability and how familiar you are with engines, again to determine if that quality used car you're really looking at is truly a quality used car. As soon as you open the hood, one of the first things I like to look for is right up here, in the covering area of the engine. What I'm looking for is anything that's obviously wet and soft and greasy. One of the things that would indicate is that the air conditioning compressor itself might be broken and might be losing grease. That's a very expensive repair. Now if it's dry up here and you notice maybe some residue, that probably was an injury that was repaired. What I'm looking for is anything that might be fresh that I will have to invest in as the new owner of this car. Also, we should look at all the hoses and belts. What we're looking for is make sure all the hoses and belts are soft and pliable. What I'm looking for is any obvious cracking or any obvious hoses or belts that might need repair. Once again, these are things that you'll have to invest in if you don't look for them ahead of time. This is something perhaps you can negotiate with the seller if you happen to notice it. All we're suggesting is that you look deeper. All of this can be done, just glance and feel. As we move on over inside the engine area, we want to check the oil. Again, you don't have to be totally familiar with the engines that you're looking at, just be familiar with the dipsticks are located and also some caps. What I'm looking at right here is the oil filler cap. I'm going to remove that. What I'm looking for is a heavy residue of oil up in this area. There should be none. If I find a heavy layer of oil in the filler cap, what that would indicate to me is that the car has been neglected, has been driven very hard, and you might have some internal engine issues. While we're here, we also want to take a look at the oil dipstick. Your oil dipstick is traditionally in the color of yellow, while your transmission dipstick, if there is one, will be red. What I'm looking for is to see if there's any burn or scorching in the dipstick, to see if the oil has been pushed back up. If the oil has been pushed back up, again, we're looking at something called blow-by or blowback, indicating, again, the vehicle has been driven very hard, or perhaps you might have some engine issues that you want to investigate a little bit further. As you can see here, there is none. It should look just like this. I like to take a little bit step further while I'm under the hood. I want to see if there's any indication that the front of the vehicle might have been pushed backwards. Bodywork today can be really spectacular, and it's very difficult with a good body job to tell if the car actually has been involved in an accident with the naked eye. But one of the things I look for is to see if there's any irregularities, any dents or dings where they shouldn't be, that would indicate that the front of the vehicle has been pushed backwards at any given point in time during a frontal collision. As you can see here, all the pieces are smooth and flat as they originally should be. Check your battery. Look for excessive corrosion on the battery, and if you can determine the date, that will give you an indication if you also might have to replace the battery sometime soon. You don't have to be a mechanic to suspect when an engine might have trouble or not. One of the things I like to do with the engine turned off is to put my finger down around the bumper area most closely located next to the exhaust pipe. What I'm looking for is to see if my fingers come up oily or wet. That would indicate that the tailpipe is blowing oil back. A good history report will give you a good indication if the vehicle has been involved in an accident or if the mileage is actually the true mileage of the vehicle. But something you should do to be cautious is to make sure that the seat wear pattern, the wear pattern on the brake pedal and the gas pedal, as well as the odometer all match. What I mean by that is, if a vehicle is showing, for example, 36,000 miles on the odometer, but the seat itself is excessively worn, and you can see metal coming through the rubber on the brake pedal or the gas pedal, that may be a clear indication that there's something might be wrong with the odometer reading. It might not be as accurate as you think it is. Just dig a little bit further and insist upon a history report. Used cars are going to have imperfections and flaws. That's what controls the price of the vehicle. Remember, the price you pay will be greatly impacted by how many flaws and imperfections that you'll find.